Hey, beautiful mama. Welcome to the Radiant Mom Rising podcast, where we believe you were never meant to just survive. You were born to shine. I'm your host, Mary Dibble, life coach, mom of three, and your biggest cheerleader in creating a life and business you love. Each week, we dive into real conversations about mindset, motherhood, healing, and purpose, helping you break free from overwhelm, rediscover your worth, and rise into the confident, radiant woman you were meant to be. Because when moms rise, the world rises with us. So grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's get ready to rise together. All right, welcome back. I'm so excited to be here today with the president and the senior executive of Blue Duck Agency. So before we get started, I'm going to let these ladies introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about themselves.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us, Mary. My name is Ashley Ruggieri. I am a senior executive at Blue Duck Agency, and I am a co-host of Ducks Unplugged, the podcast that Deanna and I do together. A little bit about me. I grew up in the business and the marketing world. You know, when you're 16, 17, 18 years old and somebody says, pick a path, what do you want to do? I said, okay, the people in my life have been in business. I guess I'll do that. So I ended up going to a business school focusing on marketing, but I also did a double major in something called media arts and society because I've always been interested in people and how people work and how you kind of bridge the gap between business and just the human experience. So that was a great decision for me because I was able to take that across the many very sexy jobs I've had in banking, in energy efficiency, and now I am on the agency side, helping all different kinds of
We're
clients.
sexy.
We
We're
are,
sexy
it's
though.
You are.
Yeah.
very exciting.
Yeah.
This is the most
Yeah.
exciting job I've had at Blue Duck Agency. Not that banking isn't super, super fun to start out with when you're 22 years old, you know,
God, that's me
getting
too.
your
I
career
did,
going.
yeah, I started banking too when I was 22. So I love that. I worked for SunTrust.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Oh,
that's
nice.
so funny.
That's great. You know, I worked for a small community bank in our area in Massachusetts, and I ended up meeting my husband there. So it was where I was supposed to be.
love that.
So I mean, outside of marketing and podcast life, I am a mom of a 7-year-old who is extremely into hockey, and so I am in a hockey rink all the time. And as a Gianna likes to say, I'm also an unapologetic Formula One fan. I love Formula One racing, which is probably something that if you took a look at me, you would not expect that at all.
Oh, so you must
No.
like, you ever watch like Jeremy Clarkson's show?
I don't know, no. So this is the other thing about me. My TV time is pretty limited. I reserve it for reality TV,
Oh.
Formula One races, and nothing else in between. Like I haven't even seen the show Friends, which
Like
I
I know I
know,
can't with that. I know.
Don't
I
even get me
know.
started on that.
Trust me. I've given opportunity I have to give her a hard time about that.
Oof.
We do. Right.
Correct.
Like who
Yeah.
hasn't watched Friends? Seriously. So yeah. Okay, you're the only person ever. So I'm Deanna, and I'm the president of Blue Duck Agency. And so Ashley and I have been working together for what is it, 7, 8 years now, I think.
About seven.
Uh,
Yeah.
It feels like forever. I don't remember a time before Ashley.
Oh.
And so she's fantastic and one of the sort of key people on my team. And I've been with the company for probably 10, 11 years. My path was pretty traditional in the agency world. I started as a marketing coordinator. Actually, I wanted to be a solid gold dancer when I was much younger, but made a big pivot into marketing. And I started in account management and just sort of worked my way up. And I've worked at big, small agencies in Boston, outside, I've kind of tried it all and found that the smaller type of agency is way more a better fit for me than the larger agencies. I mean, they're cool. It's cool to work in Boston, and but this is the sweet spot for me. So I have 2 kids, and I am in a very different life stage than Ashley. Mine are older, and my youngest child is going to college in the fall. My son is older, and he's still figuring it out. He's taking an EMT course right now, and so I'm like moving into that next life chapter. Like, what am I going to do with myself? My kids are going to be out of the house. Like, I actually have me time again. Like, what is that? And but I did all the crazy. My son was into soccer. I did all the insane kid activity, Ubering around, all the things. So Yeah, we're in different life stages, which makes our conversations quite interesting on that podcast that we host together.
I bet it does. And see, I feel like I'm like in that messy middle of both of you guys because here I have one going off to college and then two young ones as well. My daughter's going to be 7 this year. So, and then I have a son who's going to be 5. So I'm like, oh yeah, I got a little bit of both going on here. So it's like all sorts of emotions. But I think it's so neat to see how people meet. So I would like to know y'all's story too. Like, how did you guys meet and even create this agency together?
So it's a funny story. So Deanna's the president of Blue Duck Agency, and she was looking for a new account person to come on and really manage the new business side, how to grow the business, how to bring in new clients, how to make sure we're retaining existing clients. And I was looking for a career change. I wanted to get out of the internal marketing agency. Energy efficiency, while very fulfilling because you're doing something good for the environment, is not the most exciting of worlds. So I was looking for a big change, and I found this opportunity with Blue Duck Agency, and I did all this interviewing, and Deanna almost did not hire me.
It's true.
And that's
It's
the fun
true.
part of the story because she thought I was too boring, which
I
I
told
think
you you're
I'm
not allowed to use that
wrong.
word. You need to say it nicer.
When I say it nicer, it's just what it is.
It's true though. I learned an interesting way of interviewing people many years ago when I was much younger, and I it's tried and true, and I do it with everything now. It doesn't matter the level of person I'm hiring. And so I'm more interested in getting to know the person, the intangibles, right? I can read the paper and what your skills are, but it's more about who you are, how you work, how you're going to work and show up for the company. And Ashley, coming from a banking and energy efficiency sector, she was very serious and professional for her interviews, as one usually is. But in the agency world, in our culture, what you see is what you get. In working with the two of us, interacting with the two of us, I mean, that's our culture, right? And so having people be able to fit in perfectly is huge. And she was just a little reserved, and I could not have been more wrong, honestly. So we made her go to lunch with us to see if she would kind of let her hair down, if you will, and she totally did. And honestly, she is, out of everybody at the company, probably the one that's down for anything. So it's a good lesson, and be careful about the first impressions that you make, and challenge yourself and give somebody, because she was perfect on paper. Everything else was great. I'm like, I just need to know that she can loosen up, be, casual with clients, fit in with our culture, and do all the things. And thank God we gave her another chance. She's one of my best hires
Oh,
ever.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It worked out.
Yeah.
it
It
sure
worked
did.
out. And she's very fun, except for the fact that she hasn't watched Friends.
I know, girl.
I mean,
It's so
that's the
funny.
only thing.
Yeah, no, right now, me and my husband, I had to introduce it to him, and we're on our third time through it right now. And because
Yeah.
he introduced me to like Frasier and Seinfeld, and like we love that too now. We are like, I do love my shows. That is one of my my sweet
Me
spots.
too.
So I am a
Me
show
too.
junkie, but yes, I get that completely. But yeah, if you ever have a chance, girl, trust me, that's like one of the greatest shows ever. I love it.
It's
It's
on my
lighthearted,
list.
it's fun, it's lighthearted, and what I love too is like, gosh, rewatching it later in life, like how much I resonate with them and how their growth is on the show. It's so cool to rewatch it like in different accrements of your seasons as you get older. Oh
Yeah.
my God, I love it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so tell us a little bit more too, of course, about your podcast and about your business overall and how you help clients and how your podcast is reaching out for your clients, and just I want to hear more about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So, at our agency, we're really a full service marketing agency. We do everything for our clients from acquisition email to video production, creative development, like you name it, we do it. Our job is to really come in and take the load off of those internal teams and be able to help with strategy, new ideas, big thinking, but also execute. So, we like to say we bolt on to other teams really well. We work with other agency partners. Like, it's just a dynamic here where if you need something done, we help you get it done. The part that is really interesting about agencies is that they all kind of say and do the same things at the end of the day. And how do you differentiate from other ones? Because we know here we have something really special. The people that work here are seasoned, they're experts. They haven't done things 3 times, they've done it 3,000 times. So, like, you're
Right.
getting the person that knows how to do whatever the campaign is, and you're getting the people that are fun, and like people like to work with people that they like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, so
it's
that's where
true.
the podcast started coming out of, from a new business perspective and developing new clients. how can we show who we are before you get on the call with us? Like that's the missing link.
Yeah.
Because really, like when you listen to an episode, what you see is what you get. Like
Yeah.
the podcast is a mirror of our company culture, and
Yeah.
that's
Right.
what we were looking to show people.
We got a lot of that feedback that, you guys are different and we love working with you and you're so smart but you can't show any of that
Yeah.
until you get that meeting. And getting the meeting is brutal. I mean, it's really hard, especially today, to do that sort of cold prospecting. And so we said, why not? Let's just try a podcast. We'll do some. If we're awful at it, nobody will ever know. We'll put it in the dungeon underneath the ground and pretend like it never happened. But it's something that both of us kind of really took to, and it took us some time to get comfortable, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really turned into something that we think is pretty special. And so now it's just a matter of what do we do with it and how do we expand it. But it was a nice bolt on to our agency, and we had rebranded completely the company about a year and a half-ish ago. I don't know if
Okay.
I'm lying about that timing, but it's about that. And we made a major shift. We completely changed our name, we changed our look and feel, we changed everything and so it was sort of a nice next step to introduce the podcast after that, as a supporting tool for us. So, and it's fun, as you know,
Oh,
right? I'm sure. Like it's
it's
fun.
the
A lot
podcast
of
for
fun.
me is like my favorite part. I love it.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah,
amazing to get to sit here and have these conversations and meet new people around the world and just giving them a
yeah,
space to like
Mhm.
share their story and just have
yeah.
real talk. Cause that's what I'm the
Yes.
same way. When I first started this podcast, I was like so nervous. I was a little introverted and I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone. And I was like, okay, I didn't know what to think, but by far, hands down, the best decision I ever made. And it's the way it's grown, the way I've grown even over it has
Yeah,
blown
same.
my
Yeah.
mind, right? It does. And it is
Same.
a great way for people to get that connection and build that trust and see that you are truly passionate about what you do. And then this is how
Mhm.
I'm here and I can help you. And because you're right, in today's society, it's like very challenging to get out there and reach out to people who haven't yet met you and really getting that
Mhm.
message out there. And I was even just talking earlier, I was working on an episode earlier about around sales and how
Mhm.
it's a mirror a lot of times to ourselves because so
Yeah.
many of us, we get so almost offended when people sell to us, but it's like if we really are being real, it's because we don't always have the courage ourselves to do exactly what
Yeah.
they're doing. And so we need to like
Yes.
turn that around and realize we're here to serve people. But how can we serve those we're meant to serve if they don't even know who we are? Right.
Right.
So I'm
Yeah.
really working to encourage people on that. And I think it's
Right.
amazing what you do because that is something, I feel like anyone listening, especially as moms, it's like when you become an entrepreneur, like everyone's like, especially as a coach, if you're a life coach, I see this a lot. It's like you're so passionate. You want to help, you want to coach, you're ready to do the work, but you forget that you have to wear so many hats as an
Yes.
Mhm.
entrepreneur. You're also the marketer. You're also having to figure out for me, tech, I'm a tech girl. So people don't really, I see that stop so many people, but I'm like, oh, I want to help people to
Yeah.
simplify it and figure,
Yeah.
find their way because I guess, but what's easy for me may not always be easy for other people. And I understand that, which is why I love to help any way that I can. But yeah, it's like there's all these different hats. So it's so nice to have people like you who help make things possible for those who really get stuck in that place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Especially with talk about tech, right? With AI increasing and everything, it's people just don't know how to navigate it, right? So yeah, I think the more resources, the better. And
Yes.
yeah, it's additive to the business. So
Yeah, definitely. I
yeah,
think one of the good learnings that's come out of all of the work that's happened over the past 2 years, rebranding the company, trying new tactics like doing a podcast to try to promote new businesses, that we had to learn really quickly that things are not going to be 100% perfect before we need
yeah,
to try to get them out the door. And
Yeah.
we have to be okay with that kind of level of humanity at the end of the day. And
Yeah.
we've gotten really positive feedback from it too. Like
Good.
it's
yeah,
authentic, it's real, we understand what you mean. It's not over generated. Like it doesn't seem like you are not genuine when you're doing this.
Yeah.
So that's been a nice thing that I think people also need to remember. Like it doesn't have to be 100% for it to be effective and for you to try and
right.
learn something from it.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
And put yourself out there. I mean, like the things that
Mhm.
Ashley has made me do from a real and promotion standpoint, like if you had said it to me a year ago, I'm like, there's absolutely no chance I'm going to do that. And now I'm like, all right, like literally she has on,
You
we try to batch shoot our podcast. And so we
Yeah.
do usually 4 episodes every time we
Mhm.
film. And then we always have another hour and a half after that Ashley's like, okay, can you stay? And I have a list of things for us to do.
Yeah.
And so that's been good for me too, right? Even just as a president and running a company, and you got to make yourself uncomfortable sometimes. You got to push yourself. Like that never stops, right? And I think that's really, really important to show the team. And I think it's important for your own growth. And it gives back, in this case, it's giving back to our agency, right? So,
Exactly. Oh
yeah.
yeah. And I mean, you're right. That's why I tell moms all the time, do it messy. I mean, our lives are already
Yeah.
messy and chaotic enough, right? So let's just, let's join it. Let's
100.
have fun with it because if you can't find the fun in
Absolutely.
it, like it doesn't matter what you do. And that's one of the things I'm very passionate about is the mindset and identity work because I've realized on my journey, like, when I first started, I was all about strategy. Like, I need to know what I need to do. Tell me this, tell me that.
Mhm.
And I was wondering why for so long it wasn't working. And it was because I didn't really believe in what I had to offer. I didn't believe that I
Mm,
was capable of this, of even having this. And I realized the belief work, the mindset work for me, that was the biggest piece that a lot of people just kind of skipped over because they were just ready to
yeah.
do the things. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's natural for us as moms to want to just jump into the doing of the things because that's what we do
Yeah.
in life. That's
Mhm.
what
Right.
we do as moms. So having that ability to help moms to learn how to just slow down and step
Yes.
back and actually pause and really understand the importance of taking care of you and who
Yeah.
you are and
Mhm.
what you believe and actually taking on these beliefs. That's huge. And that's changed everything for me as well. So I would love to hear a little bit about your story with that too, like especially getting started, like share a little bit about what that looks like for you and like how you navigated it all.
Yeah.
So our agency was actually started before either of us joined. And it was started by a woman who was sort of done with the day-to-day marketing, and she's like, you know what? I'm working so hard. I'm doing all of this. I'm going to do it for myself. I'm going to start something. Why not? Right? Like, what do I kind of have to lose at that point? Because she was transitioning out of
Yeah.
the company that she was working at. And so she's like, I'm going to start a virtual agency and I'm going to work from home. This is way before it was cool, right? And I'm going to work from home and I'm going to be my own boss. I'm going to see if I can do this for myself. And we're literally, what are we, 21 years later,
Yeah.
And when I joined the company, it was because she had grown so fast that she had a decision point to make. She's like, I either need to kind of, as ridiculous as it sounds, scale back and just do what we're doing really well with the small team that we have, or I'm going to double down and I'm going to see if I can grow this thing, but I got to bring somebody in to grow it and make it happen. That's where I joined. And so at that point in my career, I had been at a company for probably 10 or so years. It was going through a significant amount of change. To be really candid, was not super on board with the direction it was heading in. And I'm like, I'm not here for that. Like, I'm not where I need to be from a, mental, emotional, whatever standpoint to support where they're going. So now's the time to change, right? And I took a leap and I came to this small company to see if I could help grow it. And here we are, right? And that was when my kids were really young. So what was really nice is I was nervous about working in a virtual world. I had never worked in a virtual only company. And I'm like, this is going to be like, am I going to be distracted all day? Am I going to be as functional, right? Like, how am I going to balance this and make it work? And honestly, I can't even imagine going back to an office at this point.
Oh God, I agree.
And you get so much more out of people, to be honest, without a commute and with just the appreciation and the dedication people have that they can throw a little laundry in at lunch or take a dog for a walk and
Yeah.
have that balance in a way that many of us can't. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's a little
Yes.
bit of sort of insight into at least my piece of the puzzle here.
Yeah. I came in a similar way to Deanna, obviously not as the president, but as somebody who was going to help grow the company too in different ways. So I was at that same point. I'd worked for a company for a number of years and I was burnt out. Like the asks
Yeah.
versus the time of the day and the expectations did not align. And I had just had a baby and I was missing time with that baby, working all these
Yes.
hours and having to commute. So it was really time for a change. And when I came here, it was just a different, like a good breath of fresh air because it was work from home before COVID and everything.
Yeah.
Like I started before
Right.
that.
Yeah.
So getting my feet under me, being able to say, I can readjust my life and my schedule and start to feel like I can get more things done. Of course, I'm still not getting everything done because I have a new
No,
baby.
who can, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there was just it was such a breath of fresh air to be able to come and sit at my computer and know that I was going to be able to be productive and get the things done that I needed to do. So that was a really nice change that I also wasn't expecting to work as well as it did. I'd never worked from home. I was always in these regulated industries. And I also don't think I could go back because it does give you that level of flexibility to be like, all right, the day is done. I don't have to commute 45 minutes now. I can go help
Yeah.
myself with homework and get dinner on the table and like get into our little routines and get to practices. So that's been really nice. And I think one of the other things too, the conversations that Deanna and I have been having on a couple of episodes recently is about like how as moms you manage it. Do you have to have it all? What's your definition of having it all? And it looks so different to me then versus now to
Yeah.
how it looks for Deanna now. And when
Yes.
we talk about it, it's funny because I'll say my piece and she'll be like, oh, I was there 10 years
Yeah.
ago. Like in
Yeah.
10 years, you'll be here.
Yeah. There
Oh
is
my
a
God.
light at the end of the tunnel.
There
It's a
is.
long tunnel, but
Yeah.
There
there
is.
is a
Yeah.
light.
This is
Yeah.
why I
Yep.
love encouraging moms to get started now, no matter where you're at, because it's like,
Yep.
you hear all these stories, and I love that you said that you had a newborn because I love stories like that. Because me too, I had just had my third child. I had the toddler at home. I was working from home, but it was full-time position when I
Mhm.
decided to start my own business because I'm like, well, I am at home, so why not try something on the side? And I'm
Yep.
passionate about life coaching, so I decided to get certified. And I love to speak to that and hear people's versions of that, to speak to moms who might be sitting on the fence of like, can I really do this? Because I
Yeah.
get it. As a mom, we have so much that we're carrying. So the idea of like starting something new or starting something for yourself is very
Mhm.
scary. So I like, please speak to that for
Yeah.
moms listening, because you have, like what you said, the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, what would you recommend or suggest to them to kind of help them through that part where they have little ones at home possibly, and it looks so impossible? What would you say to them?
I mean, I think for me, I'm further down the tunnel, is, a couple of things. You got to give yourself some grace, like we always say, I want to have it all. I want to do it. Having it all is nobody can have it all. And it's all the time, every day and all, right? I mean, that's unrealistic. So you have to define kind of what having it all means for you and your family. And then you have to give yourself some grace. I'm also divorced. So I've been raising the kids by myself for quite some time. And so I had to at one point just say, and I remember the conversation I had, I think it was like with my mother, and she's like, you need to find some things that you're just going to let go. I know you want to do it all. I know you want to have everything, all the dinners made. You want to have your little bento box lunch packed. You want to have the laundry done. The house is clean. Everybody's getting all A's. I know you want that. Okay. But you have to find the areas where you're going to give yourself some grace. And I picked those things. As stupid as it sounds, as ridiculous as it sounds, laundry was one for me. Okay. Like it's like the bane of my existence. And I always felt just so inadequate. It's like, how does everybody else getting to these things and doing these things? And I work from home. I should be able to do it. Right. And I was like, you know what? I am just going to give myself permission to, if the clothes are clean, that's a win, right? If they're in the laundry basket, if they're on the
Oh,
floor, if
I
they're on
hate
the
putting clothes
couch,
away. I hate putting
it's
clothes
yeah,
away.
same with me. And so if the dishes sit in the sink overnight and I get to them tomorrow afternoon, they're still going to get clean. Everybody's going to eat and it's fine. Right. So I had to find some things as silly as it sounds to cut myself some grace so I can find the time to have a glass of wine at the end of the night or sit on the couch and watch my reality TV show, which I need to reset. Right. And
Mhm.
that's okay. And so some women just need that time to exercise or whatever it is, right? And so I think the grace is really important, and that grace changes, as your kids are navigating and activities pick up and just things change, right? But
Yes.
that sort of fundamental lesson doesn't change, if that makes sense.
Yes. Oh, completely. I mean, that's the thing I tell. So it's like such a difference too, with like when it comes to like resetting and avoidance that I like
Yeah.
to help with moms to understand, because I think that's the thing. We feel so guilty or unproductive when we do
Mhm.
something for ourselves that doesn't,
Right.
isn't like work, 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 work,
Right.
work. And it's like, no, 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 no. Like you have to have it. That is actually, that is the work. I mean, that's the biggest part of the work is like, if you can't fill your cup up, if you don't do something to really reset or deregulate your nervous system, if you're in a place that's of chaos or
Mhm.
anything, like if you come in that with that energy, you're going to just sabotage it anyway. So might as well like
Yes.
give yourself that time and allow
Yes.
yourself to get aligned with the right energy so that when you do show up for it, you got it and you can just, execute whatever you need to execute. Because I know for so long I was in that forced energy of like feeling that desperation. I was just hating my job,
Yeah.
hating things. I'm tired of surviving and I just wanted it to work, work, work. And it's like no wonder it didn't work because I was overly showing up with this desperation energy. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, no. So it was the best thing for me to learn these things and learn about my nervous system and how to regulate myself. Because you're right. I mean, golly, the dishes will get done. I mean, one thing
They
I feel
will.
like when you get older kids too, I will say my son is amazing because he washes the dishes, he helps out. And I think it's a
Uh,
very important life
Good
skill
for
anyways
him.
for them to learn, where they can do their own laundry, they can help clean up the
yes.
bathrooms, they can, there will come a time for that. And, so it's just like you say, having that patience too of getting through that journey of the seasons that
Yes.
you're in and learning how to honor where you're at and like
Mhm.
being okay. Like,
And
hey,
being,
right now the
yeah.
potty training is sucking. It feels like it's never going to end. But then but man, when it does,
Yeah.
I just got there with my youngest and let me tell you.
Oh,
Congrats.
you're done. That's
Yes.
amazing. I
No,
remember
no, no.
I was so stressed. And that's a really good example is we put these like you expect, especially with your first kid or your second or early in the years. Well, mine's not doing that yet,
Oh
right?
my
My
gosh.
son took a really long time to potty train. Okay. Like it was getting, I was really freaking out about it. And I'll never forget my doctor saying, I promise you, Deanna, he will not go to high school in a diaper. I promise you, right? And I was like, you're right. First of all, I am being ridiculous. Like he's like, I don't even know what age he was, but like he wasn't that old, right? And they'll get to it on their own time. And it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong, right? It's just kids will do what they do when they do it, right? But it will all get done and happen.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing I had to learn is not to be positioning myself against others. I had to
Yeah.
learn to just focus on myself because when I was looking at all these other moms who were doing all these things, or when I was thinking about how I grew up and what my mom was able to do and accomplish with us, I am a different person. I am in a different life. My family is different. And that was hard, especially those first couple of years.
Yeah.
So once I was able to say, like, all right, it doesn't matter what other people are doing. It just has to matter to me and my family. That helped me so much because, yeah, the dishes are not done every night. The laundry is absolutely on a pile on the floor.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying no to things that other people might be saying yes to because it just doesn't work for me right now.
Yeah.
And that's been freeing. And that gives you like the little nugget of corner in your brain that lets you find the thing you're interested in. Like,
Yeah.
what's the
Yes.
spark that's then going to make you decide that you can actually do the thing you wanted to try or whatever it might be. You have to give yourself the brain space to do it, which is hard. Like you said, it's so hard
It's
to
really
not
hard.
feel the guilt,
Yeah.
but you
And
have to do it to get to
And
the next thing.
sometimes that brain space is to do nothing. And that I think was the
Yes.
hardest lesson for me to learn, right? Like, okay, I have a couple hours here. I need to do something productive, right? Like I need
No.
to and
Yeah.
sometimes you don't. It's okay. It's not being lazy, you know,
Yeah.
it's resetting. Your body needs it, your mind needs it. And it took me I would argue, not that long ago, finally came to the realization that it's okay. And I'm old.
Yeah.
So, you know, I wish I
Oh,
had learned that sooner. And I hope women out there can learn that sooner because it's really, really important.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
we feel so much guilt,
Oh
you know?
yeah. I mean, some of my best downloads have come from like where I'm like, I'm not feeling it. So I'm gonna go like relax and watch one of my shows or go for a
Mhm.
walk or just sit outside because the weather's beautiful. And then
Right.
out of nowhere, all of a sudden I just get this big idea that pops in. The next thing I know, I'm back at it at the computer and I am like go, 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 go and fueled
Same.
and excited. And it's like so instead of feeling that dread of like I got to get this done. I got to do this.
Right.
It's like I get this like other energy of like, yeah,
Yes.
like I love this. I'm passionate about it. And like that's what I want for anyone that I work with and for anyone listening, like to, give themselves, like you said, that understanding and that break, and know that you're right, it's not laziness. Now there's that difference between avoidance that sometimes we can
Yes.
fall into, that we have to be careful of, because there is a
Right.
sense of like being like, I'm just not doing it because I'm scared and I'm afraid,
Right.
and so I'm judging myself or assuming that it's not going to work, and that's where the belief work comes in too, right there, right? But
It's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Usually the scariest things or the things you're most anxious about are the ones that matter and will mean the most when you do it, right? I found that. I was scared about the podcast. I mean, I was very anxious about lots of elements of putting myself out there, and I can't tell you how glad I am that we did this. And so pushing through it and giving yourself a chance to sort of show yourself and impress yourself. One thing you probably find this interesting, Mary, is I did this. I'm turning 50 in a couple weeks. I'm so old,
No, you're not.
and
Not
I
that. You're
yeah,
not.
it's
You're
not a
not.
great number. It's a big number. Let's just say that. And so I decided a year ago, I'm like, I'm going to do something called the Road to 50. And I'm not going to wait till I'm 50 to start. Like, I'm going to embrace it. And, I made a list literally of things that some were big, some were small, sort of my bucket list of things I'd love to try to do and tackle before I get to 50. And that partly was to push me, right, to do some things that I don't normally do. And I have a little bit more time now that my kids are older.
Okay.
And I am just like so excited. Like I'm looking at that list. I'm 2 weeks away. I'm not checking everything off, but
Okay.
I'm checking most things off. And so it's another way to sort of hold yourself accountable, but like in a really fun way, right?
I love that.
And so, yeah.
I love that. And I honestly celebrate it. Celebrate every little one. I don't care how small it is or whatever, just celebrate them all, because getting anything accomplished, especially when it's like something new or scary or
Mhm.
something you've just always been dreaming of too, like there's just
Yes.
nothing better than that. And you should always recognize and credit yourself for doing it, because, like I said, we're so many people fall short and allow themselves to stay playing small because of that fear. You didn't. So good for you, girl. And you know what? And there's nowhere that says that you're not allowed to do that in your 50s either.
Oh, I'm
Your 50s are
100%
going to be
doing
exactly. So your 50s are going to be even
absolutely.
better than you could ever imagine. And you're going to accomplish even more. And then you'll get to your next 60-year like
Yeah.
eventually, like your list. But
Well, no,
yeah.
Ashley said that the other day and I almost
Yeah.
fired her. Yeah, we're not talking about 60.
Oh God, no, no, no.
And
Yeah.
so, but
I get that.
51,
Yes.
51. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
sort of like it not only it holds you accountable, but in some ways it gives you permission to do some of the things because I'm like, well, I have this goal. I have this list. I want to do it. I want to check it off. Right. And so yeah, it's fun, but I'm not going to turn 60. I'm going to tap out at 50.
Oh
So
God.
it'll just,
Yeah, we're gonna just stay where we are right now. We'll worry about
yeah,
the
I
next
feel,
decade when it's
yeah,
time.
just, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Enjoy the present. I love it. I love
yeah,
it. No.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I do hope you have a wonderful birthday and
Thank
a
you.
great
Thank you.
celebration when that time comes. Enjoy, embrace it, girl.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Embrace it. So, but tell me a little bit more too, about your agency. If someone was interested, wanting to work with you guys, learn more about you, where would you say is the best place for them to find you?
Absolutely, yes. So you can find us at blueduckagency.com. And for anybody who would want to just reach out with a direct question, I'm your girl. So it's Ashley at blueduckagency.com. Shoot me an email if you have a question or anything that I can help out with. But definitely take a look at the website too, blueduckagency.com, because the homepage image there is really representative of who we are and what we do. It is a blue duck in a sea of all these yellow ducks, just showing Blue Duck Agency, our differentiators, like in the sea of marketing agencies, we are different for a reason. So that was the whole actual image behind our rebrand a year and a half or two ago. It started as Deanna playing in Canva, looking at some billboard options, and all of a
I've
sudden she's like, I have something here.
Yeah, I feel I like to play creative. We have things something called No Meeting Wednesdays that we all try to be really good about, and the thought there is to take some time on that Wednesday and just play, right? Do something that's outside your comfort zone, outside your to-do list. I don't want to-do list work all day. I want you to just go try. And so I fancy myself a creative person, which drives my creative team insane. So that's how that whole thing started. It's you're not going to find those ideas or you're not going to come up
Mhm.
with things if you can't create that safe space and time, right? To just play and think.
Gosh, yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like that even in the educational system, that I hurts me. Like I feel sad for the kids. I feel like in today's world, because it's like, or even just anything growing up, because I feel they're so about like be quiet, stay still, do this. They take away the
Yep.
creativiness of all these kids.
Yes.
And so I love that
Yep.
because I think even in the corporate world, like that's something that's a lot that's missing a lot of times is like
Yes.
Mhm.
allowing their employees to have some creativity, have some time for themselves. To, it demoralizes a lot of these people.
Yeah.
And it's why people are so, passionate about starting their own thing or going out there and finding something from home. And I'm just so grateful for it. Honestly, I can't, I'm so grateful for these opportunities that we have, especially as moms. Like we've missed out so much. I know with my firstborn, working in the banking and I worked at an oral surgeon's office. I mean, just
Mhm.
having to go to an office and I missed out on so much like field trips and award ceremonies and little things that I could have been part of that I get to now embrace with my other kids.
Mhm.
And it's the big part of my why of why I also
Yeah.
am doing this because I definitely want to make a big difference in this world, but I also want to be present with my family. I want that
Yeah.
Yes.
freedom. So yeah, I think that's a great thing that for you. I'm so happy for you guys that you met each other, that you got to create this together and the podcast and everything sounds amazing. If you're listening, you got to go check it out. I'll make sure all the links are in the show notes. And of course,
Awesome.
I also always love opening up the floor too. Is there any other advice or anything that you'd like to leave with listeners?
I think just don't be afraid to try. That's what I've been learning and continuing to learn across my life and my career. Don't be afraid to try the next thing because what's the worst that happens? It's not the right thing for you and you try something else. You pivot, as they say in
Pivot.
Friends.
Oh, stop it. You're not allowed to
I
quote
know.
it.
I,
She keeps trying to slip in
Well,
some
full
quotes from
circle
Friends, and
moment,
I'm like,
ladies.
no.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Pivot. I love that.
Pivot.
That's one
Yeah.
of my favorite things.
Yeah. And, I think the only other piece of advice is, outside of sort of cutting yourself some slack and is try, it's okay to laugh at yourself. We try to like, don't take, unless you are actually, curing brain cancer. A lot of what we're doing is, it's fun and it's important and our jobs matter and we need to do a good job, but also, right, we're not curing brain cancer. So laugh at yourself. Don't take life too seriously. Find that time, and I would argue to say you're all doing a great job. We're all doing a great job in our own ways. And you're gonna have bad days. You're gonna make mistakes. Raising kids is not for the faint of heart. There is no rule book. I have clawed my way through it many years, and your kids, you're gonna do well, and your kids are gonna do well. Just love and work hard and give yourself some grace.
Oh, I love that. And just definitely trust in that. You're right.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see how they turn out. It really
Yeah.
is. It is. It's a reflection of your parenting but at the same time, like you say, we are human. We got to, I mean, I was 20 years old when I had my first son. So
Yeah, right.
I was clueless trying to figure
You're
myself
still
out back
growing
then.
up, and it's like, okay, what do I do
Yes,
with this thing, right? It's
exactly.
like, yeah,
So I know I made lots, but at the end of the day, too, God, he's an amazing boy, the way they
right.
turn out. And, I think this is why I'm so passionate about helping moms to start with themselves first, because it
Yeah.
does start with you because they're
Yep.
always watching and they learn
Oh,
the most through just
totally.
like how you handle things, how you show
Yeah.
up, and how you take care of yourself or don't. They're watching.
Yeah. Also, and when you make mistakes, like
Yeah.
it's okay to say I made a mistake and I'm
Yeah.
not perfect and apologize. I mean, that was one of the hardest things I learned as a parent, like going back and showing how to apologize to, whatever. Like all of that is so important.
It is. It teaches responsibility, ownership,
Yeah.
accountability. Like that's super. I mean, I do all the time. I'm like, you know what? I'm so sorry. Mommy could have handled that better. But and
Yep.
it's
That's
so
great.
powerful getting to teach them that and show them
Yep.
that it's okay to to pick yourself back up. And even crying. Like I remember I used to be so afraid to cry in front of my kids. And I'm like, no, I'm actually embracing my feelings and letting them see that they can process their own feelings, that mommy's processing hers. And sometimes a good crying fest is it's release. It helps you
Yes.
get it out. And that's okay. Cause then once you're out, you can move past it. You're like, okay, now what's next? And I can feel,
Right.
feel better again. But it's so powerful in everything that we're teaching them and who they're going to become while also getting to understand we matter too.
Right.
We
We
mom matters
do.
too. So yes,
We do.
yes. Well, it has been amazing talking with you all. Like I love what you're all about. I love how you help others, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait to go check out your podcast. I'll definitely be sure to follow that and tune in. I have a lot to learn. I'm newer on my entrepreneurial journey, so I'm always ready for new information for anything that can help me or my clients. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
having us. Yes,
It's
this was
great.
a lot of fun. We loved it. So thank you.
You're welcome. I love it. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe below, follow along, and always leave a comment. Tell me what was your favorite takeaway. What are some things that are coming up for you through these conversations? I really love to hear from my listeners and know that I'm always here for you. If anyone listening is ready to take action and really follow through and implement the goals that you set out for, as well as work on that mindset and really step into your full potential and the CEO of your life, then I invite you, schedule your free 1 hour limitless mom strategy call with me while they're available. And let's explore where you are, where you want to be, and how we can bridge that gap together. I can't thank you all enough for tuning in each week. Always remember, until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and keep believing in everything that is available for you, mama. You are worthy, you deserve it, and I'm so grateful to be walking this journey alongside you. Much love.